Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Real International Space Agency's launch of Breesat2 on a Hawk rocket. We are at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida, where the Breesat2 rocket is fueled and is ready to launch the Hawk rocket, and the Breesat2 payload is ready to launch aboard the Hawk rocket. Being seen on the little launch tower is the Breesat2 mission flag. If I had I can pull up a bigger image if need be, but for right now, this will do fine. ISBA is prepared to launch at 12:10 Eastern Daylight Time today. We are currently counting down in the terminal count phase, and we are preparing to punch in the guidance system command, run program. After punching in the guidance system command, the program will take automatic control of the rocket. Following auto control being taken, it will fly itself on a trajectory to an inclination of between 26 and 29 degrees. On this inclination, it will be prepared to transfer the payload to geostationary orbit.
This case be lagging again.
Next thing we need to do is punch in the enter key, and we will be good to go. And I do not know why KSP is lagging so much. Must be Chrome.
This is already 12 seconds. Okay.
And we are ready to fly at 12:10 Eastern Daylight Time. Weather at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station today is in-game clear with a high of 90 degrees Fahrenheit, but in reality today, the weather at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station is 32 degrees Celsius, feels like 45. Rain starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, with winds out of the southwest gusting to 20 kilometers per hour. So we are currently on schedule to launch the Hawk rocket with the Breesat2 payload at 12:10 Eastern Daylight Time. The go-no-go poll was held approximately 5 minutes ago, confirming that the spacecraft and other systems are ready for launch.
It wasn't.
All right, go for launch. Booster.
Booster.
Guidance.
Go.
Go.
All right, we are ready to go for launch. So, the spacecraft is now ready to transfer to the internal battery power and launch in 2 minutes. Correction on that, in 1 minute at 12:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We will follow the vehicle from the ground tracking cameras, with telemetry being called out by the guidance officer. And with T-minus 15 seconds to launch, the ground systems and real ISEA range are go for launch. Guidance system command is being run. The guidance system is coming online, and the guidance system will be online momentarily. And we should have guidance system online. I just can't click right now because if guidance system is online, T-minus 15 seconds. Hawk is counting down to liftoff.
KSP is lagging hardcore.
Yes, I know.
How is it still in the
The Hawk rocket should begin the ignition sequence momentarily. The reason you see the full GUI is because we need the camera tools GUI open so that we can follow the Hawk rocket as it flies from the ground with the full ground track. As you can see, if we enable the auto zoom function, it zooms in on the payload fairing with the payload inside. But that is not what we want to do.
Actually, we can't.
So we are now preparing for liftoff in a few moments. The final countdown will start once the engines have ignited. Standing by for engine ignition shortly. I'm uncertain as to why the KSP is lagging so much. And we have ignition. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have main engine start. And we are go for main engine start. Main engine's building in thrust. Thrust is building, smoke is coming out of the launch flame ducts. And we should have liftoff momentarily of the Hawk rocket carrying Breesat2 for Cool Industries. And we do have liftoff confirmation. Liftoff of the Hawk rocket carrying the Breesat2 payload for Cool Industries. ISEA's first commercial mission is underway with the launch of Breesat2. And we will now exit camera tools mode and switch over to the vehicle's onboard cameras because I have a feeling it will reduce the amount of lag we're getting. You can see the booster this is the first stage booster camera. As you can see the launch tower sliding by. And we are preparing, and the tower should clear momentarily. We apologize for the lag. It's just
altitude passing 200 meters.
You're hearing the voice of Guidance Officer Cooling 14, Cooling Herman, as he calls out flight guidance information. And Hawk has cleared the towers. Preparing now to enter the pitch program. This pitch kick program will begin pitching the rocket downrange. I need to go AFK because I need to eat something.
Orbital velocity is 410 meters a second.
And the Hawk rocket has entered the pitch program. The vehicle is now beginning a downrange pitch to achieve an inclination of 28 degrees. of between 26 and 28 degrees.
Satellite will be positioned between 5 degrees north, 5 degrees west, and minus 5 degrees north, minus 5 degrees west.
Altitude approaching 1 kilometer.
It is now 87 degrees. Altitude surpassing 1,200 meters.
Thank you for the bacon, Mom. Velocity now passing 115 meters per second.
Altitude 2,300 meters.
Roger. T plus 44 seconds into the mission. All systems looking nominal at this point in the flight.
G-force is just surpassing 1.5 G of acceleration.
Roger.
All boosted data looks nominal.
Pitch is now 80 degrees, 82 degrees. Look away from the clouds. Surface horizontal velocity is 32 meters a second.
Roger. The view you're seeing now is the internal view of the second stage engine, and sitting on its decoupler below the first stage. Above the first stage, correction.
Pitch is now 80 degrees. Apoapsis surpassing 7 kilometers.
Roger. The Hawk rocket is now passing an altitude of 4.7 kilometers on its way to a final apogee altitude of 35,786 kilometers.
All boosted data looks nominal. T plus 1 minute.
Roger.
T plus 1 minute.
All vehicle systems operating nominally at this time in the mission.
Altitude is now surpassing 5.6 kilometers.
Roger.
Is 520 meters.
Currently viewing the vehicle in the mission control flight guidance system mode. And every time we exit the external cameras, we need to reconfigure the flight guidance, the camera, the simulated external camera. And the vehicle passed Mach 1 a couple of moments ago.
Altitude now surpassing 7.5 kilometers. Apoapsis above now 10 kilometers. Pitch is now at 73 degrees. And G-force and acceleration. And the G-force is 1.7 G's acceleration. Surface horizontal velocity is 100 meters a second.
Roger. The vehicle is approaching Mach 1, and the vehicle has passed through the supersonic regime, and the vehicle is now into the transonic realm.
We have reached max Q.
Max Q is maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle, and max Q is now beginning to drop off at this point in flight. All systems operating nominally within the expected parameters at this point in flight. Thank you for the host, Tyler Reyes.
Dynamic pressure is continuing to increase.
Roger. Did you say increase or decrease?
Increase. It's just about peaking out now.
Roger, we have reached the maximum dynamic pressure point in this flight. Altitude passing now 13 kilometers. Velocity passing 430 meters per second.
T plus 1 minute 30 seconds into the flight. Surface horizontal velocity is 200 meters a second. G-force just about 2 G's. Pitch is now 62 degrees above zero. Above flat. The horizon.
Roger.
T plus 9 seconds, booster looks nominal.
Roger. All systems of the Hawk rocket continue to operate within the expected parameters at this point in the flight. Velocity 473 meters per second. The Hawk first stage is expected to burn until approximately 4 minutes, 40 seconds, at which point it will separate.
Pressure.
Roger, max Q has been surpassed. After max Q has been surpassed, the dynamic pressure on the vehicle begins to drop away for those of you who do not know what max Q is.
Performance of the game's gone a lot better.
Roger?
And then it starts lagging again.
The Hawk rocket is currently pushing the Breesat2 spacecraft into a geostationary transfer orbit. The Breesat2 spacecraft weighs approximately 7.6 metric tons and was originally supposed to be launched on a Zeus 331 rocket. However, the Zeus 331 encountered some launch script anomalies in test flights, which forced the contractor Cool Industries to switch to a Hawk rocket, ISEA's so far most reliable booster, with 2 launches under its belt and two full successes.
Surface horizontal velocity 480 meters a second. Mission time T plus 1 minute 50 seconds.
Roger, I'm reading surface horizontal velocity. I'm reading surface velocity 755 meters per second.
That's also vertical speed.
Roger. Altitude now passing 25 kilometers. Velocity passing 790 meters per second.
2.4 G's of acceleration.
Roger.
What's
Currently viewing the first stage external camera as the vehicle continues to pitch downrange as expected. You are currently looking at a view of the beautiful state of Florida from the view of the first stage booster camera.
Surface velocity is 610 meters a second. Surface
Roger.
horizontal. T plus 2 minutes now into the flight.
T plus 2 minutes, all booster data looks nominal.
29 seconds. Correction, altitude passing 29 kilometers. Velocity 886 meters per second. Visible in the distance is the moon and Jupiter. We have installed distance object visual enhancements, or DOVE. So Jupiter is now visible in the distance under my cursor. Currently viewing the mission control flight guidance mode.
Time to apoapsis now surpassing 1 minute.
Roger, time to apoapsis on my screen showing 65 seconds. Gimbal on the first stage is being increased at this point.
Apoapsis on my screen showing 65 seconds.
G-force now 2.75 G's of acceleration.
Roger, altitude passing 36 kilometers. Velocity passing 1.11 kilometers per second.
Horizontal velocity surpassing 1 kilometer a second.
Roger. Altitude surpassing 38 kilometers. T plus 2 minutes 15 seconds after liftoff. All systems continue to operate nominally as expected. For the for the Hawk rocket, Zeus will be launching next with the Breesat1-F spacecraft for the International Space Exploration Agency. There are several planets visible in the sky, Mars and Venus being the other two. Currently experiencing some shock heating that is nominal for this point in the flight. Altitude 43 kilometers, velocity 1.36 kilometers per second.
Orbital velocity is 1,800 meters a second.
Roger.
Ship altitude is 45 kilometers.
Roger. We are able to view all the curvature of the Earth from this altitude as we continue to accelerate into space, into the vacuum of space.
T plus 2 minutes 30 seconds. All booster data looks nominal.
Roger. Booster performance is nominal at this point, with approximately 1/8 of the fuel we started with at liftoff now remaining in the booster.
G-force now exceeding 3.5 Gs. If it should exceed 4 Gs of acceleration, the vehicle will throttle down to 20% of its maximum of its
Rated thrust at this point in the mission. Generally, from at this point, we would be doing a ground track view. But since camera tools evidently causes the game to lag even more, the ground track is not on, and ground cameras are not available for this point in the mission. Altitude now surpassing 55 kilometers, velocity 1.88 kilometers per second.
pitch is 25 degrees above the horizon.
The velocity remaining in the core stage is approximately 1.1 kilometer per second at this point in the mission, with 23 seconds of rated burn time remaining.
Coming up on throttle down.
Spacecraft will throttle down in order to both conserve delta V and limit the G-forces on the vehicle at this point in flight. And we have a throttle down command sent from the internal flight guidance system. We are tracking through the Breesat1D spacecraft has acquired the tracking of the vehicle at this point in the mission.
Surface horizontal velocity is now 2 kilometers per second.
Roger. Total surface velocity 2.1 kilometers per second. 2.1 kilometers per second at this point in the flight. All systems continue to operate nominally as expected for this point in the
velocity
mission.
is 5 meters a second. Altitude is now surpassing 64 kilometers.
Velocity remaining in the core stage 819 meters per second.
Time to apoapsis is continuing to increase now at 1 minute 32 seconds.
I'm uncertain if MechJeb's delta V readings are correct. We seem to have more fuel than MechJeb is telling us we have burn for.
Now T plus 3 minutes into the flight. Everything is proceeding nominally.
The Hawk booster continues burning downrange, burning its kerosene liquid oxygen mixture. At this point in flight, all systems continuing to operate within the nominal parameters as expected. MECO is expected shortly. Following MECO, we will separate the first stage and ignite the Hawk vacuum engine. The Hawk uses 9 Merlin. The Hawk is basically a Falcon 9 just renamed, as ISEA has been offered production rights under the Hawk name from the International Space Council. Standing by for MECO momentarily.
Apoapsis has almost reached space. T plus 3 minutes 20 seconds into the mission.
Altitude now passing 85.3 kilometers. All systems continue to operate nominally as expected, getting maximum thrust on the core stage engine of 3,875 kilonewtons of thrust. Standing by for MECO. And we should have MECO momentarily. And we have MECO.
MECO.
And we have stage separation.
Confirmation of MECO.
And we have a clean stage separation. The Hawk upper stage has separated from the core at this point in the mission. And is continuing on with the nominal mission at this point. Standing by for second stage ignition, and we have SES2 and we have SES1. The second stage engine has started up for the first time. And the second stage ignition is nominal.
Confirmed. We have second stage ignition.
G-force are now just 0.85 Gs, what you are currently experiencing on Earth.
Visible now is the curvature of the Earth. And the first stage falling away.
And the apoapsis has reached space.
The apogee has passed 142 kilometers.
Is just starting to decrease, but this is supposed to happen.
The time to apogee decrease is perfectly nominal for this point in the mission, as we are currently having a thrust-to-weight ratio of 0.88.
The thrust-to-weight ratio will soon surpass that of what you are experiencing sitting down on Earth or standing up.
Pairing separation should occur at around 160 kilometers. Should occur momentarily.
About 120 kilometers, we should have pairing separation. Altitude now surpassing 115 kilometers.
Velocity surpassing 3.8 kilometers per second orbital.
The atmosphere is essentially null at this point. G-force now exceeding 0.9 Gs. Pitch is still remaining at 26 degrees, which is nominal for this point in the mission.
And we have payload fairing separation, exposing the Breesat2 spacecraft to the vacuum of space for the first time.
Confirmation of payload fairing separation.
Altitude passing 122 kilometers. Time to apoapsis, 88 seconds. And falling slowly. Velocity now 3.4 kilometers per second. We should have enough
force now
in
nearly 0.94. Horizontal velocity is 3,000 meters a second.
Roger.
Orbital velocity is 3,500 meters a second. Altitude, just about 130 kilometers. Thrust-to-weight ratio has reached 0.95 Gs.
Preparing for the thrust-to-weight ratio to surpass 1. After the TWR surpasses 1, the vehicle should begin increasing in its time to apogee.
At roughly T plus 4 minutes 35 seconds into flight, the time to apoapsis should start increasing once again. Currently at T plus 4 minutes 25 seconds. Pitch is still remaining at 26 degrees.
All systems at this point in the mission are continuing to operate nominally, as the Hawk rocket carrying the Breesat2 payload continues to fly downrange.
The payload and second stage are currently experiencing the G-force that you will be experiencing right now, sitting on
10 minutes?
or 1G.
1G.
Fine.
And TWR has surpassed 1G. Altitude, the second stage payload has reached space.
And the second stage is now in the vacuum space. Velocity 3.7 kilometers per second. The TWR has surpassed 1.
Time to apoapsis is staying.
Time to apoapsis is still decreasing at this point.
Yeah, usually I found that it would start increasing at 1.8.
And we have hit a TWR of
1.05 Gs.
1.05.
E plus 4 minutes 45 seconds into the flight. Everything's proceeding as planned.
75 seconds to apogee. All systems operating within the expected parameters of the mission at this point. Currently viewing the second stage camera. Visible there is the vacuum engine and the RCS ports.
Temporal apoapsis is staying just about steady at this point.
Time to apoapsis is decreasing slowly at this point in the flight.
Slowly.
Thrust to weight ratio is 1.06. Velocity remaining in the stage is 7.1 kilometers per second.
Apoapsis exceeding 170 kilometers.
Altitude exceeding 152 kilometers at this point in the mission. Velocity 3.85 kilometers per second orbital.
G-force now 1.07 G. Heading at 100 degrees, pitch still remaining at 26.
Visible here is a map track, currently tracking through the RSAT-1D satellite. Altitude surpassing 154 kilometers.
I think I just seen the throttle drop to 0 for a second. I'm not too sure if
has
that was
exceeded
or not.
1.09. No, the throttle drop would have just been an anomaly from me switching into map view to show the ground track. Time to apogee now 1 minute 10 seconds. 0.3. Time to apogee is still falling for some reason.
Time to apoapsis is still falling very slowly now. This is still nominal at this point in the mission. It should start increasing relatively soon. T plus 5 minutes 10 seconds into the mission.
All systems continuing to operate within the expected parameters for this point in flight. Approaching a velocity of 4 kilometers per second. Altitude 160 kilometers. Time to apogee is steady. At 69 seconds.
There's the second.
Time to apogee is at 68 seconds now. Velocity is 4.01 kilometers per second. Thrust to weight ratio of 1.14. Apogee now at 179 kilometers.
Pitch looks like it's decreasing on my end.
Roger, pitch is dropping. We're at a pitch angle of 22 degrees.
5 degrees.
Usually the lower you go, the faster the time to apogee drops.
G-force is now 1.71 G. The
Roger,
vehicle is
currently getting a thrust to weight ratio of 1.18. Time to apogee is still falling.
very slowly. Apoapsis itself is now 182 kilometers. Ship altitude is 169 kilometers.
Visible atop the spacecraft here is the Breesat2 payload, with a fuel tank containing kerosene and NTO, for its two engines on the bottom of the payload, which are currently hidden by the decoupler. Velocity
It
4.2 kilometers per second.
It has 4 solar panels in total, 2 of them meant as a backup in case 1 or 2 of the main solar panels might break. It also has a
Time to This has dropped. Apogee has dropped to below 1 minute.
Roger. Pitch is currently 13 degrees.
The Breesat2 payload's main job is to function as a communication
TWR of 1.3.
Its secondary purpose is also as an imagery satellite to take pictures of the Earth. At its geostationary orbiting altitude, it will be able to see roughly half of the Earth.
Flying at a pitch angle of 12 degrees.
The Earth's total area. And will be providing communications for Africa, for most of Africa and the Indian Ocean and the Middle East.
Approximately half the fuel in the second stage burnt off at this point, velocity 4.5 kilometers per second.
Orbital velocity, yeah, never mind. Surface horizontal velocity is 4.1 kilometers per second. G-force 1.35 now.
Roger, currently
Time to
passing
apogee.
182 kilometers. Timed apogee is still falling for some reason.
Just slightly. Pitch is now 12 degrees, stable.
Following apogee pass, the vehicle will enter a pitch up
TWR
and down mode.
1.4.
Time to apogee 46.7 seconds.
G-force now 1.43 Gs.
Vehicle is continuing to accelerate, velocity 4.78 kilometers per second.
Pitch is just about starting to go up just slightly. This is planned.
Time to apogee is slowing down. Time to apogee 43 seconds to apogee. Correction on that, 42.
TWR of 1.5.
Inclination is 28.9 degrees.
This is nominal for this point in the flight.
It is within nominal range of low Earth orbit.
Downrange distance, 814 kilometers. Vehicle is currently flying downrange at a nominal rate for this point in the mission.
Time to apogee drop below 40 seconds. 39.
Altitude now 190 kilometers. Time to apogee now 39 seconds. Set
Velocity
apogee
5.1 kilometers per second.
TWR of 1.6.
Roger. Time to apogee is still falling.
Okay.
Following apogee pass, the vehicle will begin a pitch up maneuver in order to pitch the vehicle up in order to increase the apogee and attempt to pull the apogee in front of the vehicle.
Now, G-force now 1.7 Gs.
Correction on what you just said. Pitching up will decrease the apogee, meaning that it'll go closer.
Going
Pitches
AFK,
remain 12
mission will
degrees.
continue under the automated guidance system until the vehicle has reached orbit.
Copy.
After that, the insertion burn to a geostationary transfer orbit will be done manually. Once we reach roughly 0 latitude, 0 longitude. G-force now 1.8 Gs. Imagine that as if another 0.8 of yourself were on top of you.
Time.
Galaxy
Doesn't matter.
kilometers. Time to apoapsis is still just barely decreasing at 36 seconds.
1.9 G. Apogee, time to apogee increasing.
Time to apoapsis has now started increasing as planned. G-force now exceeding 1.95 Gs. Horizontal velocity is 5,400 meters a second.
I will be turning off the screen on my end of the computer. All systems should still operate within the expected parameters. I'm uncertain as to whether... The screen is going off on my end. I'm uncertain as to whether this should disrupt the Twitch broadcast.
Everything looks okay on the Twitch.
Roger,
G-force now exceeding acceleration.
Time to apogee 39 seconds.
Altitude 200 kilometers.
.1 G.
Orbital velocity now 6.1 kilometers per second. The needed orbital
2.2 G.
It would be 7.7 kilometers per second around the Earth. Now at T plus 7 minutes 50 seconds into the flight. Everything
29.1 inclination. 2.3 G.
That's so I can get dressed and then go do that.
Surface horizontal velocity is now 6 kilometers per second. Mission elapsed time is 8 minutes.
2.4 G.
Again, should somehow the G-force surpass 4 Gs on the ride to orbit, it will throttle back down to
Time to apogee past over 50 seconds and increase.
any delicate payload electronic and systems will not be harmed or damaged. Orbital velocity is now 6.8 kilometers per second. We need 1 kilometer per second more delta V expenditure by the second stage, and we should be able to reach a stable orbit. Stable, the vehicle is now pitching down below the horizon.
Time to apogee 1 minute.
Vehicle is now starting to pitch down to lower its time to apoapsis, currently being at 1 minute 1 second. The vehicle is able to pitch down to 20 degrees below the horizon should it need to.
Three G.
Time to apoapsis exceeding 1 minute 6 seconds now. Horizontal velocity 7 kilometers per second. Orbital velocity 7.2 kilometers. 7.4.
Prepare for perigee to go above the negatives.
Periapsis is now minus 300 kilometers. 200 meters.
G-force is 3.4.
Time to apoapsis is now starting to decrease as planned.
Below 1 minute.
At
Roll down.
200 meters.
Seco.
We have Seco 1. Vehicle is now in a stable coast.
29.1977 degrees inclination. 0.005243236 eccentricity.
Final periapsis 207 kilometers. Final apoapsis at 276 kilometers. This is and final Final inclination 29.2 degrees. These are within our parameters for a GTO orbital insertion.
Wait, wait, actually, doesn't matter, lag is still.
T plus 9 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. We now begin the coasting phase. LOS on the stream. 1.